Eliud Kipchoge into the history books here in Vienna on this extraordinary Saturday morning. Wow. Take us into the mind, Ed, of what he must be thinking now.
I have absolutely no idea.
What might he be thinking? Goodness me.
Don't you wish that there were like thought bubbles? I've thought this forever. I wish we could get into the mindset of the athletes. I wish there were thought bubbles that would pop up. You know, I find that in this stage of the race, I have a mix of emotions. 1 minute, I'm thinking, this is terrible, it's not going to go well. And then the next minute, I'm thinking, I've got this, I'm a rock star, I can do anything. So it's really, I think, in these moments, kind of fluctuating back and forth.
I think, you know, he's someone who is, you know, quite a relaxed and Zen-like person. You don't have any, he's putting himself through something really, really extraordinary here, and he will be emotional. There is, you know, thoughts bubble up, thoughts that, you know, you think you suppressed, and bad demons sit on one shoulder and good demons, you know, good angels sit on the other. So
I can tell you, he has practiced this in his mind over and over the last 3 months. As soon as he committed to this proposition and to this challenge, in training, he has visualized these tough moments, and he's pushed through in training and said, imagine you're on the streets of Vienna. This is the crucial moment. This is when you have to execute and push through the pain. So he has practiced this over and over. And I find that actually when I'm in races, in a major marathon, I take myself out of the streets of that major city and I go back to the streets of Portland, wherever I'm training, and I visualize myself back in my training grounds, in my comfort zone, with my teammates, with my coach. And it brings this familiarity, and it doesn't become this overwhelming proposition.
You know, he just had a little conversation with Valentine Trial, his manager. That tells you something in itself.
Yeah.
He just had a little back and forth. If he was really, really hurting badly, I think that would be impossible. So
we are still 10 seconds inside the target. A couple of 2:52s there, just to break up the green boxes. Again, if you're just joining us, the green box that we've been showing you kilometre by kilometre means that he is on target for that kilometre. 2 minutes 50 for the kilometre is the target pace that we need, and that is represented by that green laser. That is sub 2 hour marathon pace, and that is the guide which is provided by the laser pacer car. There's the green laser as again the runners go in front of our commentary position. There won't be many more times we see them pass and flash in front of our commentary position before the now and the end of the race. We're into the last half an hour, and the next team, here we go, the next team, this is team number 8. Eric Kiptanui is back in action once again, and we will see Brett Robinson peel away, and this is the penultimate team, Shalane, who have got duties between 33 and 38 kilometres.
You know, this is a team that's going to really need to rally Eliud if he's hurting. I think there's going to be some communicating, them rallying him, talking to him, if he can hear it through the crowd. But, you know, these pacemakers are so intent on helping him and doing whatever they can.
Yeah, you see, he actually gets a little lift when he gets a new team. So you sometimes see just a couple of seconds come off a split when he gets a new team. And that's all. So
Kipchoge is one of that team, one of his lifelong friends, one of his closest friends.
Yeah, and you actually saw Augustine, I think, just saying a couple of words to him. So I don't know whether Eliud heard it, but just when they had a changeover, you saw him saying something there.
And Augustine will be here for the remainder of the race. He is closing out with Eliud, and I feel like that's by design.
Well, this is all about Eliud Kipchoge, of course, and what a moment. We've been talking about what might be going through his mind. One of the things he might be thinking about is his wife and family. Grace, his wife, who has never seen him race live in the flesh before. Well, she is now, and she's with Radzi.
She is indeed. Grace, I see you watching your husband up on the screen. What goes through your head when you see him run?
I'm kind of nervous, but I'm also excited that he has tried to break the 2 hour barrier of marathon. I'm really excited. I'm happy for him. Yeah.
You've also brought your 3 children along as well. How are they enjoying it?
They are very excited. They have never been to a race where their dad runs. Yeah, it's their first time. Yeah.
So it's a special occasion for all 5 of you. But what would it mean, do you think, for Kenya if Eliud were to break this 2 hour barrier?
Well, Kenyans are really waiting and are very excited for Eliud to do what no human has ever done. Yeah, they are really waiting.
Well, it's an absolute joy talking to you. I won't take your eyes off the screen any longer because I know you want to get out there and support your husband. And I do have to also say that Grace wouldn't normally do things in front of the camera, so we're very grateful that you've come to speak to us now. Thank you, Grace.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks very much indeed, Grace. Great to see her here. What a moment and what pride she must be feeling. And Radzi mentioned her 3 children and Eliud's 3 children, Lynn, Griffin and Jordan. They're all here today as well. The ignition keys of his life, as Eliud refers to them. It's a lovely image and one of several memorable lines. We talked about the self-help books that he likes to read. He devours them. And actually, in all seriousness, it would be very easy for some of these lines to sound rather cheesy and rather manufactured. But when they come out of the mouth of Eliud Kipchoge, they sound sincere, and he always measures the importance of each word very carefully.
Yeah, he is very selective in his words, and in a way, it's like prophetic, the way he delivers them, and he doesn't waste any words. And I think everyone really appreciates what comes out of his mouth because it holds such importance every time he talks.
We are into the penultimate team of pacemakers. One man who's done a sterling job today, Stanley Kibini from Kenya. He was part of Team 7, and he is with Crystal.
Stanley, so great to grab you right here at a crucial part in this race. Can you just give us a sense of, before it all started, what was the camaraderie like? What was it like in the tent?
It was really emotional. We look at Eliud's eyes in the tent on the screen, and you look at the man, he's very straightforward. You know, he's just, in his mind, you can tell that he's saying, yeah, I'm going to make history today. And he's happy that, you know, all of these people are all over here to witness the history and the rest of the world.
Goosebump moment, it definitely sounds like. But Stanley, from an African perspective and what this means for the continent of Africa if it is attained.
This means a lot, not only the continent of Africa, but the world at large. Eliud will be the first human to run under 2 hours, and this is so inspiring, not only to the runners all over the world, but to everybody that no human is limited. You can go to your goals as much as you have that energy and that strong mind that you want to do whatever you want to do. So it's not about running, it's about inspiring the world and everybody else in the world that everything is possible and nothing is limited for you.
You're sounding confident.
I sound confident, and I feel confident that this will happen today. I believe in Eliud 100%. I believe in the team that we have. I believe in the sponsor that, you know, sponsor this INEOS. We really believe in what's happening over here because we've been here for a long time just getting ready for this.
What of the tradition of distance running in Africa, how it gave you your base and gives Eliud his?
In Africa, running started to be something that's not only sport, but everything in our lives. We do it for sports, but again, we do it for living. Running has earned me a scholarship. I went to the United States to study in the University of Arkansas, get my degree, and I was happy because I would have never been able to pay for my school fees. School fees in the United States is about $50,000 a year, so I couldn't afford that. But they give me free education through my running, and now I'm still going professional with Nike. So it's been quite a journey, but a very incredible journey. I love it.
Thank you for being part of this journey. Great chatting to you, Stanley.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Stanley Kibini there as they go around the Lusthaus. One more time, that's the smaller of the 2 roundabouts. We are approaching 35 kilometres. We've got, what, just over 20 minutes of running to get Eliud Kipchoge home over the finish line inside the 2-hour mark. Just to stress, this has never been done before. No, it won't be a world record, but the whole point of this exercise, if you're just joining us, was not to break world records. He's already got the world record. This was stretching the limits. What is the limit of human endeavour? And as the hashtag we've been using said, and as Eliud says so eloquently, no human is limited. He wants to do something that has never been done before. We've had a man on the moon. We've had Roger Bannister breaking the 4-minute mile 65 years ago. We've had Edmund Hillary on Everest all those years ago. This would be, along the same lines, this will be an achievement of that magnitude. No human is limited, and we are now, Ed, into the last 20 minutes of this being a reality.
I'm just watching his face here, and it is absolutely fascinating. His eyes are like dinner plates. He's having to talk himself through this. He's telling himself that he's got it, you know, he's smiling a lot. it is like it's like a man who's told himself to dismiss what his body is telling him.
Yeah.
His body is saying, stop.
He's a man possessed. But, you know, he's trying to become a pioneer and a trailblazer right now. And it's a threshold so bold and inconceivable, yet here we stand at the doorstep with the notion that the human spirit can take us across it. And I believe that in Monza, him knowing that he was only 26 seconds away from breaking the barrier, that gave him confidence to then go attack the world record in Berlin, where he ran 2:01:39. And those two performances, I think, is what catapulting him forward today and making him have so much self-belief that he's convinced almost everyone else in the world that he can do it too. And I think this is a huge moment.
Your whole career for 20 minutes.
Absolutely right. It's right here. Here are the final team of pacemakers, team number 9. They will take them home from 38 kilometers right through to the finish. And the captain, of course, he was the captain in the first team. It's Bernard Lagat, and how fitting that the 44-year-old, the oldest pacemaker in the team, the most experienced and a dear, dear friend of Eliud, should be the captain on the final leg.
Bernard and Eliud have actually raced each other a number of times, and the experience the two of them have. They may not be the youngest athletes out on the road, but their experience is what it makes the difference.
Wow, I think we just need to take a pause, don't we, and just breathe.
I've just edged myself up closer on my seat. The butterflies are really starting to accumulate right now.
And we are on the finish line here. We're hoping to call Eliud home and make a little bit of history here. I can tell you that the crowds at the finish line are 12, 15, 20 deep. We have a posse of Kenyans who are making an absolute racket. We've got Kenyan flags all over the place. The atmosphere is absolutely electric, and yet again, one of the contrasts between the experience in Monza a couple of years ago, and I think you make the point very well, Shalane, that mentally he said he didn't know when he went into that Monza experiment how close he would get to the 2-hour mark. He had no idea at all. Now he knows, and you just sense, as Ed was describing, that he knows in his heart of hearts that he can do this.
Yeah, he knows that this is going to open up the floodgates of the future as to what is possible. And, you know, sometimes you can't be what you can't see. So he's going to be an example for all future athletes, but not just athletes. His message is to the world of, you know, what are you possible, you know, what are you capable of doing, and what is your possible best self?
I feel very nervous right now because anyone who's ever run a marathon will know that the last few miles, anything can happen and the wheels can come off. He looks really good. He's hurting. You know, you're just hoping that he's got this.
10 seconds is the margin for error here. I just wonder, as we're, 6 kilometers from the end here, both of you, once he gets into that final kilometer, once he can physically see the finish line with his naked eye, could you argue that actually it's the next couple or 2 or 3 kilometers that are the most crucial?
Yeah, I believe the next, oh my gosh, look at the fans, that's incredible. I believe that the next few Ks are really crucial, because once you can see the finish line and taste it, it's like they say like a horse running to the barn. You know, and I'll be curious to see as to whether the pacers are going to stay on to the very end. When will they peel off? If he's feeling good enough, is he going to communicate that? I'm really curious to see how it unravels in the last K.
Yes, in Monza, you may remember, if you were watching that 2 years ago, the pacemakers peeled away at 42 kilometers to give the full streets and the full final couple of 100 meters to Eliud alone. We've got 2 or 3 different scenarios that have been painstakingly put together, depending and rehearsed endlessly and repeated, so that nothing has been left to chance. And so it depends very much on where we are against the clock as the final team take over at 38 kilometers, led by Captain Lagat. There he is, itching to go. Bernard Lagat, a 5-time Olympian, 44 years old, 13 world and Olympic medals to his name, and he is going to slot into place and, Shalane, try and bring Eliud home.
This is the moment when you're in a track race and you go ding, 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 last lap. This is what we're going into. That was the ding, 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 the last lap. You know, Eliud said last night, I don't know where the limits are. but I'd like to go there.
Well, the sound is deafening here. I hope you're getting a sense of that from our wonderful pictures back home. There we are. We've got fans from all over the world. Remember, a lot of people have travelled from Kenya to be here, the 8,500 kilometres. We bumped into some people from Utah yesterday. They'd made the trip. They'd flown overnight and they were there, just so excited to be here.
Yes, we bumped into so many amazing fans yesterday, but specifically a family from Utah that flew all the way here. It was a mother and two sons. And I said, you know, why are you here? And they said, we love Eliud. We love marathoning, and we are here to support Eliud.
There are two things going through my mind right now, which are, firstly, we should enjoy just watching this guy run, because we're not going to get maybe too many more chances to see him like this. And the second of all is, I hope that he's enjoying it. You know, even though he's in this tumult of exertion, even though he must be hurting so much, you really hope that he's soaking this in some way.
The next 15 minutes of this man's life, and indeed the pacemakers as well, but particularly Eliud Kipchoge, could be life-defining, and that is not overstating it. This is going to be, if he does it, an achievement off the scale. It's never been done before, and I think it transcends running, sport, and it really, truly pushes the boundaries as we've never seen before.
I think, you know, the sport of marathon running is watched by not that many people. If he does this, everyone will know one marathon runner at least. You know, they'll know the guy that broke 2 hours in the marathon.
And they'll know him as Eliud, yes.
Oh, wow.
And it's metronomic again, isn't it? The pacemakers have done an absolutely outstanding job. From memory, correct me, both of you, if I'm wrong, but I don't think we've had a kilometre outside 2:52. I think that's the slowest we've had.
Correct. 52 has been the slowest.
And we've had a 2:48 as the quickest.
Yeah, so they've been really within a tiny window. I mean, we've been...
That's incredible. If you really think about it, that is incredible pacing.
Yeah, and the position on the road as well, just to remind you, they have to stay within those dotted orange lines. Certainly Eliud does as well. We've got the laser, the green laser, which is giving them the exact pace, and they've been bang on the money. And to do all of that whilst running in excess of 13 miles an hour for as long as they've been running is truly sensational.
Yeah, this is the work you see that the whole team have done. So they've been right on pace all the way through, but they've had this system which they've adhered to, which is this, you know, the lasers and the formation, and it's worked a treat.
Wherever you're watching in the world, whatever your time zone, whether it's morning, afternoon or evening or the middle of the night, we hope you're enjoying. We're on the verge of history here, folks. We cannot overstate this. And Valentin Trau, the athlete manager, is there still on his bicycle. We've got Hugh Jones just and smiling as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Hugh Jones there, who's a former London Marathon winner and a course measurer for marathons all over the world. He's also on his bicycle there enjoying the ride.
I think people think this is going to happen now. You can see from the support team, there's still a little bit of nervousness on Valentin's face, but you can see from the support team that they think this is going to happen.
Well, let's hear from one of the fantastic pacemakers who've done their job. Patrick Tiernan was part of the last team that were out there, and he's been speaking to Crystal.
Patrick, we are on the threshold.
Yeah, I mean, it's unreal. I mean, he's on pace and he's killing it, so we're all rooting for him here.
What does the no human is limited motto of this whole challenge mean to you?
I mean, he's a human who lives by that motto. I mean, 5 years ago, the sub 2 hour marathon wasn't even considered possible. And now you've got a guy who's out here and he's cruising around looking like he's not even breathing doing it. So, you know, the motto it's perfectly suited for this event. And, you know, it's something that we all 40 of us want to try and strive for once we get out of here.
And who's going to do it?
Yeah. We'll knock on wood. But, yeah, no, he's looking great. I mean, he's cruising through it. So, yeah.
Thanks for chatting to us, Patrick. Let's keep our eyes set.
Patrick there, Patrick Tiernan, and we've got on the finish line here, we've got people who've climbed into trees. We've got one or two people who are standing on top of the portaloos, the portable toilets, would you believe it? Everybody is craning their necks. Everybody wants the best possible view here on the Hauptallee. We're standing by for major sporting history here, and Ed, we're into the last 10 minutes. We've got 10 minutes to bring him home.
Well, I'm starting to feel like those men in bowler hats who watch Roger Bannister. You know, they had that privilege of watching that great moment at Iffley Road, and if everything goes well for the next 10 minutes, and I'm touching some wood here, I think this looks now like it's going to happen. You know, you'd have to drop quite a lot of pace over these few Ks to lose it from here. It can happen, but you can see there's more relaxation on the faces of the people around Eliud, and you can see on his face he's still looking pretty relaxed. I mean, I'm sure he's hurting, but he looks quite good.
Yeah, I'm sure he's realizing he has 9 minutes of running, and you know, you tell yourself, I can do anything for 9 minutes. Right in front of us, we are watching as all the pacers gather on the other side of the road to cheer on Eliud, and I believe there'll be hopefully something to celebrate here soon.
Julian Wanders has, sensibly put on a huge puffer jacket because he's freezing cold. They're all jumping around. They're taking selfies. The whole team are now assembling because they think it's going to happen.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but my heart, I can feel it pounding in my shirt this morning, and we are just sitting here watching and in anticipation, licking our lips here. 1:50 on the clock, and we have, exactly 9 minutes to bring him home. What an opportunity here. And these final pacemakers with Bernard Lagat, I think it's so fitting that Bernard Lagat is the team captain for this final leg.
Yeah, from the same area where Eliud grew up, friends forever, was a part of the last attempt. You know, the camaraderie on that last attempt was massive, even though, he just missed the 2 hours. I think it's a gorgeous thing that Bernard Lagat's in this final group.
Well, 40 kilometres will be the last major K kilometre to reach the last landmark, and that will be 1:53.44 is the target. And let's just remind ourselves that actually by this stage in Monza he was already starting to struggle, and he was already he already knew that he was not going to achieve what he wanted to achieve.
He's in much better shape today. You can tell physically, you can just tell in the cadence of his running, you can tell by the support staff and a few smiles that are breaking through. I feel like the pacers feel like they know it's going to happen. He's in a much better place today than he was in Monza 2 years ago.
We were at 10 seconds inside. We've just dipped to 9. I don't want to worry you folks at home, but we just need to keep an eye on that clock because we are ticking ever closer. But the cadence looks good, doesn't it? The shoulders look relaxed.
Yeah, but you see the thumbs have gone in. He's not feeling as good. He hasn't got very far to go. I mean, he has every right not to feel good. I wouldn't feel good. But he still looks amazing, all things considering. And, in Monza, when it started to drift, he couldn't pull it back, and who could? Once those splits start to drift, you're finished in terms of this attempt.
It's almost like you have a rope tied to these pacers, and once that rope is broken, it is so hard to get back on the pack. And the fact is, he's not allowing the rope to swing too far off of his pacer. So the rope is not broken. He's attached to this pack, and he's going to just enjoy the ride to the finish.
Communication still taking place between Valentin on the left of picture there on the bicycle. He's giving instructions out. We just saw Eliud just lift his shirt momentarily just to wipe his nose. Needs to make sure everything is absolutely on point. Let's just enjoy these pictures. I think Ed has said, let's just enjoy history unfolding here before our very eyes. Well, we've had 7 successive 250s, 2 minutes 50 for a kilometre. And anybody who's thinking about going out for their Saturday run, Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon, maybe even doing a park run of 5 kilometres, well, just watch and learn. This is the master at work here. Just over 2 kilometres to go.
This is something that everyone can understand. It's a neat number. It's this unbroken barrier. Many times when you watch a race, look at those splits, they're so even. Many times when you watch a race, it's not immediately obvious what's happening. In this, you know what's happening. This guy has to run under 2 hours, and it looks like he's bang on track to do that.
Eliud just took his last swig of a water bottle, and notice he didn't really drink much, but there's this, it's been proven in science that just swishing the fluids around in your mouth gives you a surge of energy and as if like you're just consuming much. But he didn't really drink that much, but that was his last water bottle, I assume.
Well, they are comfortably on the last lap here, the last loop of this 9.6-kilometre loop, and he's smiling again. Now, people can smile for different reasons, mostly because they're happy. We've said that Eliud often smiles when it's really hurting. At what point does that smile, Shalane, become a realization that he's going to do this?
I would only assume is when the finish line is in sight. That's the only reason to smile, because the marathon is an unknown beast and you never know. You can never get too confident. So even though he may be feeling good or not so good, you can never swing an emotion too strongly either way. But usually the smiling right now, I think, is because he's hurting, but hopefully there'll be a mixed smile of pain and pleasure at the finish.
Just over 4 minutes to go, and the pacemakers we are expecting to peel off and let him have the Hauptallee to himself to enjoy the moment, an historic moment as we click ever closer to the magic figure of 1:59.59. As things stand, he will be comfortably inside 2 hours. Ed, how are you feeling from here?
I feel like a bundle of nerves. Who thought they were going to see this in 2019? We haven't seen it yet, but who thought that this was possible in 2019? Yes, there are some, parts of this which are, artificial in terms of the pacemakers, whatever. It's not a race. But who thought you'd see someone run sub-2 in 2019? It is beyond the imagination.
When the conversation first started for the sub-2 effort, I said, no way in my lifetime will I witness a sub-2 hour marathon. I truly did not believe I would be able to witness something like this.
Well, the pace car will be peeling away at 41 kilometres, and then it'll be down to the pacemakers themselves to bring Eliud home, and all being well, they will then peel off as well and leave Eliud to run home the final few hundred metres. 1.2 kilometres to go. He is almost there. He has one hand on history here in Vienna. There's Grace, his wife, looking on. She's never seen him race before in the flesh, remember. What a moment for her. What a moment for the children. The pace car has gone. We've lost the laser.
He's getting quicker.
It's now all down to Eliud and the pacemaker.
The gloves are off.
He's getting quicker.
He's racing right now. This is racing.
Well, this is true racing. Shalane knows what this feels like through the streets of Central Park in New York, whether it's in Berlin or London. But today is all about Vienna. Today is all about Eliud Kipchoge. We're down to the last couple of minutes to bring him home. Ed, some final thoughts from you.
I'm overjoyed that particularly this man has got to do this. It's not just the barrier being broken, it's something that has existed in this person's head for so long, and it's so gratifying to watch him achieve that.
He's almost there. He can see the finish line. That's the view from Eliud Kipchoge. You can see the finish line where we are looming into view. 1:57 and approaching 1:58. I think we can say with some certainty now that he's going to do it. He's going to do it. He's going.
He's telling him to move away.
Come on, he says. Come on, this is it. Shalane, a final thought from you.
This is incredible. Eliud's performance is such a gift to the world. His running is a gift to all of us. I feel so blessed to be here today. I hope everyone can hear me smiling through this microphone right now. I cannot stop smiling.
500 metres to go. He has the Hauptallee to himself. All the pacemakers have let him go. As Ed said, he is sprinting into the history books here. They're cheering him on. 400 metres to go. Let's bring him home. This is history unfolding on the streets of Vienna this morning. It's a Saturday run like we've never seen before. Listen at the noise. The crowd getting right behind him. Goodness me, 300 metres to go. He can see the finish line here. Neil Armstrong we had on the moon in 1969. We had Roger Bannister, the 4-minute mile 65 years ago. Edmund Hillary, the first man to climb Everest in 1953. We have 1 minute to go. Eliud Kipchoge is on his way here.
It's not going to be a minute.
This humble farmer who used to run 2 miles to school every day and back. He used to go to the nearest town on his bike to sell milk at the local market. And now, through hard work and discipline, he's pointing. Come on, he says. Eliud Kipchoge has the hand of history on his shoulder. He has less than 200 metres to go. Eliud Kipchoge, let's keep an eye on the clock, into the final 20 seconds. Eliud Kipchoge, on his shoulder, 140, the unofficial time.
There's his wife.
Eliud Kipchoge storms into the history books in Vienna. 1:59.40, the unofficial time. The first man to run a marathon in under 2 hours. One final lung-busting stride for Kipchoge. One giant leap for human endeavour. And you know, Kipchoge was right. No human is limited. And now he can celebrate. He has done it. And to Roger Bannister, Neil Armstrong, Edmund Hillary, we can now add the name of Eliud Kipchoge. Shalane, sum it up for us.
I would like to just thank Eliud for sharing his gift with the world, with us today in the City of Dreams. He created an absolute masterpiece that will never be forgotten.
Ed.
That was absolutely beautiful. That last kilometre was absolutely beautiful, with his teammates cheering him on from behind. He's now been held aloft by all of his teammates. There's thousands of people with cameras who want to hug him. There's a Kenyan flag. It's pandemonium at the finish line. He's gone crazy. You wouldn't have thought he'd just run a marathon.